So you hear these things, right? Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin fella, he's put it out there. He wants to come on the podcast, threw his hat in the ring publicly for everyone to see. Wants to sit down, have a proper chat. Not just any chat, mind you. He's aiming to talk Bitcoin, that digital gold everyone's either raving about or scratching their heads over. It's a bold move, you've got to admit. Putting yourself out there, especially when you're talking about something as wild and controversial as cryptocurrency. It's not like he's asking to discuss the weather, is it? This is big stuff, potentially world-changing stuff, depending on who you ask. Now, why would a bloke like Saylor, who's already got a massive platform, want to come on the JRE? Well, think about it. We get all sorts on here. Scientists, comedians, fighters, thinkers, people from every walk of life tuning in from all over the globe. It's a massive audience, a diverse crowd. And if you're trying to get a message out, a really important message about something you believe is the future, well, you'd want to reach as many ears as possible, wouldn't you? You'd want to talk to people who might not normally hear about Bitcoin from a guy like him. It's about breaking out of the echo chamber, I reckon. The potential impact? Mate, it could be huge. We've seen it before. Someone comes on, lays out their ideas, and suddenly millions of people are talking about it, thinking about it, debating it. Saylor on the JRE talking Bitcoin could really light a fire under the conversation. It could bring Bitcoin to a whole new level of mainstream awareness. Not just the tech crowd, not just the finance gurus, but everyday blokes and lasses. People who are curious, but maybe a bit intimidated by all the jargon. That's the power of a long-form conversation, isn't it? And let's be honest, it's not just any podcast he's angling for. The JRE is a different kind of beast. We go deep. We let people talk, really talk, no sound bites, no quick gotcha moments, just a proper, in-depth exploration of ideas. For someone like Saylor, who's got a lot to say about Bitcoin, its philosophy, its technology, its potential, this kind of platform is probably exactly what he's looking for. He wants to lay out his case, and he wants people to really hear it. It's a fascinating prospect, no doubt about it. The man clearly thinks he has something vital to share with the world. So who is this Michael Saylor character anyway? For those not deep in the crypto rabbit hole, he's the co-founder and chairman of a company called MicroStrategy. Now, MicroStrategy isn't some fly-by-night crypto startup. It's a proper, publicly traded business intelligence firm. Been around for ages. But what makes Saylor and MicroStrategy stand out, especially in recent years, is their absolutely massive bet on Bitcoin. We're talking billions of dollars worth. They didn't just dip their toes in, they dived in head first, holding a colossal amount of Bitcoin on their company's balance sheet. It's a wild strategy. This move, this colossal corporate gamble on Bitcoin, instantly made Saylor a massive figure in the crypto world. He's not just some tech bro hyping his latest coin, he's a serious businessman running a serious company. And he's put his money, and his company's money, where his mouth is. That carries a lot of weight. People sit up and take notice when someone with that kind of skin in the game starts talking. He's become one of the most vocal, most ardent advocates for Bitcoin on the planet. A true evangelist for the cause, you might say. He wasn't always a Bitcoin guy, from what I understand, but when he got into it, he went all in. He's done his homework, clearly. He speaks with this incredible conviction, laying out the case for Bitcoin as a store of value, as an inflation hedge, as a revolutionary technology. He uses his platform, his interviews, his social media to educate people, to persuade them. He's not shy about his beliefs, and he's not afraid to make incredibly bold predictions about Bitcoin's future. It's that level of certainty that gets people listening, even if they're skeptical at first. So why do people care what Michael Saylor thinks? It's a combination of things, I reckon. His business background lends him credibility. The sheer scale of his Bitcoin investment makes him impossible to ignore. And he's articulate. He can explain complex ideas in a way that, well, makes you think. He frames Bitcoin not just as an investment, but as a solution to some of the world's biggest economic problems. Whether you agree with him or not, you can't deny he's a compelling figure. He's definitely changed the conversation around institutional adoption of crypto. The Bitcoin community, as you can imagine, is absolutely buzzing about this. The idea of Michael Saylor sitting down for a few hours on the JRE, that's like their World Cup final. They see it as a monumental opportunity. Think about it. Saylor, one of their biggest champions, on one of the biggest platforms in the world. It's a chance to get the Bitcoin message out to millions, maybe tens of millions of people who might otherwise never hear it, or at least not in such a detailed, nuanced way. They're hoping for a deep dive, a proper explanation that cuts through the noise. Why the excitement? Well, a lot of folks in the Bitcoin space feel it's misunderstood. They see the mainstream media often focusing on the price swings, the scams, the negative stuff. They believe that if people just understood the fundamentals, the technology, the philosophy behind Bitcoin, they'd see its true value. Saylor is seen as someone who can articulate that vision. And the JRE, with its long-form, open discussion format, is seen as the perfect place for that kind of deep educational conversation to happen. No interruptions, no agenda, just a genuine exploration of the topic. Social media, particularly X, what we used to call Twitter, just lit up when Saylor made his public request. You saw a flood of comments, things like, "This needs to happen," "The world needs to hear this conversation," or at Joe Rogan, "Please make this happen." Saylor on JRE would be legendary. Lots of Bitcoin advocates were tagging me, tagging the show, urging for the interview to be booked. You had big names in the crypto space retweeting Saylor, amplifying his call. It was a proper grassroots campaign, all driven by the community's desire to see this dialogue take place. The enthusiasm is palpable, you can't miss it. Of course, there are always a few skeptics, people wondering if it'll just be an echo chamber or if it'll truly reach new minds. But the overwhelming sentiment is one of massive anticipation. The Bitcoin faithful believe Saylor can handle any tough questions, any skepticism, and present a compelling case. They see it as a chance for Bitcoin to have a fair hearing on a massive stage, to move beyond the niche corners of the internet and into the broader public consciousness. It's a potential watershed moment for them, and they're all hoping it comes to fruition. Now, while all this podcast excitement is brewing, there's other stuff happening in the crypto world. The regulators are always watching, aren't they? The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, they've got their eyes on these things called staking ETFs. Specifically, there's been some chatter about their concerns regarding products like the REC shares and Osprey funds staking ETFs. It sounds complicated, but let's break it down. Staking, in simple terms, is like earning interest on your crypto by helping to secure the network. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, just bundles up assets so people can invest in them easily on the stock market. So, a staking ETF would let people get exposure to those staking rewards without having to do the complicated techie bits themselves. Sounds good, right? Easier access. But the SEC, their job is to protect investors, and they seem to be looking closely at how these staking ETFs are structured. They're probably worried about a few things. Are the risks properly disclosed? Is it clear to investors what they're actually getting into? How are these rewards generated, and are they sustainable? They want to make sure everything is above board and that people aren't being misled. It's a new area, and they're treading carefully. What does this mean for folks who want to invest in these kinds of funds? Well, it could mean delays. If the SEC has concerns, they might not approve these ETFs quickly. They might ask for more information, more changes to how they're set up. In some cases, they might even decide not to approve them at all, or at least not in their current form. So, if you were hoping to jump into a staking ETF tomorrow, you might have to wait a bit longer. It's all part of the growing pains of a new industry. Regulation is trying to catch up with innovation, which is always a tricky dance. So, why do these two stories, Saylor wanting to come on the JRE and the SEC looking at staking ETFs, matter to anyone interested in Bitcoin or crypto? Well, it's all part of the bigger picture, isn't it? On one hand, you've got this push for mainstream understanding and adoption with figures like Saylor trying to educate the masses. That's about growth, about bringing more people into the fold. On the other hand, you've got the regulators trying to figure out how to manage this new asset class, how to protect people. Both are crucial for the future of crypto. It's about balancing innovation with safety, excitement with caution. It's a wild ride, this whole crypto thing. And these are just the latest twists and turns.